Hello there, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to replace the oil pump in an old V4 Wisconsin motor. This one is on a Lincoln Welder. First, drain all the oil out of the engine. Then, remove all the bolts that are holding the oil pan on to the engine. After that, you can then take screwdrivers and pry the oil pan off. Inside, we can see our oil pump. This oil pump will have 6 screws on it. If you remove the 6 screws, you can inspect the oil pump. On my oil pump, I found out the problem. All the gears had cracked. Water probably got in here at a time, froze it, then someone tried to start it, thus breaking the oil pump. Remove the flywheel cover. Then take a hammer and knock out the cotter pin that is used for hand starting the engine. Use a big wrench to pull the nut off holding the flywheel on. In my case, I didn't have a big enough wrench, so I had to use a pipe wrench. Now, flywheels can be very stuck on. This one is very stuck. Take a punch and punch a hole in each one. Drill 3 holes on these 3 flat spots. I drilled them for a 7/16 bolt. Tap them. Take your tap set and run your tap in there. Now, taps can be a little tricky to use. Take your tap and twist it, move it back and forth so you're not only going in one direction. You go about a turn one way and then do a half turn back, or else you're going to run into all sorts of problems, unless you have a fancier tap set than I do. After this, you can use a bearing puller to pull your flywheel off. I built a bracket for myself, put on here that I can just bolt to the flywheel, which makes it a lot simpler pulling it off. Now, using the bearing puller can be a little tricky because my flywheel on was very stuck. During intervals, while you're tightening your bearing puller up, take a big hammer and whack the end of the bearing puller. There, I finally got my flywheel off. Now you need to remove your bearing puller. Pull your flywheel off. Remove the 5 bolts that are holding the cover on. These 2 bolts also have to be removed. Same with this one. And above that bolt, there will be 3 screws that will need to be removed. Back to the other side, there's another bolt that needs to be removed. The throttle also needs to be removed. All you need to do is remove the cotter pin. Here, there's one more bolt. You disconnect the wires leading here. Your choke will also have to be removed. Then remove the whole cover to the engine. Remove all the bolts that are holding the cover to the engine on. Now, there are 5 bolts here that can't easily be accessed. These you'll probably have to use a wrench to pull off. Also remove the bolts that are holding the magneto on. After this, take screwdrivers, chisels, and you might also have to use a hammer and slowly wedge the cast cover off. Use your hands and just slowly wiggle the gear cover off. Next, you'll have to remove the oil pump gear. Once the oil pump gear is moved below the engine, there is a screw. Now, this screw is holding the oil pump in place, but there's 2. The first one has to be removed. Now, for me, this one was stuck on real hard, so hard that in the end I had to weld onto it to remove it. Below it, there is another screw. This screw has to be removed or the oil pump will not come off. And then take a mallet and slowly tap it on. You can see, this is the old oil pump. I have removed the gears from the one end. Here is the new oil pump. Put the oil pump in much as you took the old one out. Put your gear back on. Make sure you put everything back together how you took it apart. Your seals and gaskets are probably all shot after having removed it, and those you can scrape all the old material off and clean them up real nice. And then I recommend using Ultra Black. The Ultra Black gasket you can put on, and it's cheaper than finding brand new seals and gaskets on it, and it'll work just as good. Now, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thanks for watching.